قناة القاهرة، قناة مصر الثالثة.
البرامج التعليمية بقطاع التلفزيون المصري مع نخبة من أفضل مقدمي البرامج التعليمية وأحدث الوسائل التكنولوجية. معنا تحقق التميز، التفوق، فتابعونا.
Good morning, dear students. Welcome to our TV program. Today we are complete the first session. In the first session, we talked about the support in living organism, support in plant and in animal. We talked about in the support of plant, the structure support and physiological support. Then complete the session by the support in human. We described the skeletal system. Okay, what is the component of the skeletal system? Axial skeleton and appendicular skeleton. Also, we complete the session by describe the tendons and joints. Movement, okay, is a phenomena which characterized. What is meant by phenomena? Phenomena means a state by which or in which characterized all living organism. Means all living organism is characterized by the movement. You know that there are 7 characteristics for all living organisms. What are these 7 characteristics? Movement, number 1, sensation, reproduction, respiration, nutrition, excretion, and growth. We will describe the movement. It is a phenomena characterized all living organisms, and it arises by itself. Means that the living organism can change its place to do this movement. This movement results from exposure the living organism to stimulus. What is stimulus? Stimulus means external factor. External factor like dog or car. Therefore, the living organism may respond. Respond means make an action for this. This action may be positively or negatively. Positively means go towards the stimulus, or negatively move away from the stimulus. This is the movement. Okay? And in both cases, positive movement or negative movement, this occur movement. What is meant by movement again? It is a phenomena which characterize the living organism, okay, by which the living organism exposure to stimulus. This stimulus may be positive or negative stimulus, and this occurs the movement. Now, what are the types of movement? Types of movement. You can say that running is movement, swimming movement, creeping is a movement. This is types of movement. Okay. Also, there are another types of movement like continuous movement. Number 2, positional movement. Number 3, total movement. There are 3 types of movement. Again, number 1, continuous movement. Number 2, positional movement. Number 3, total movement. We will describe firstly what is the continuous movement. Continuous movement occurs inside each cell. Inside your body cells, there are a movement named by continuity of vital activities. To continue your vital activities, you can do this continuous movement, like the movement of the blood inside your body, the peristalsis of small intestine. This is examples for continuous movement. Also inside your cell, okay, cytoplasmic streaming movement. The movement of the cytoplasm inside your cell, also in plant cell, this is continuous movement. Okay. Second, what is the positional movement? Positional, from this name, due to the possession. Possession means the place in which the organism found. Positional movement like what? Like the positional movement like the peristalsis inside the vertebrate. Okay, all vertebrate animals like the dog, horse, mammals which contain vertebral column has, okay, peristalsis in the stomach. Peristalsis means the movement of the small intestine, large intestine, stomach, alimentary canal from the start from esophagus to end for the large intestine. This named by positional due to its position, no change from its place. 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 No change from its pie. Some box or some clothes from any place. This is searching for food or searching for meat. This is a total movement. Total movement means you can move from one place to another to searching for food or a mate or avoiding any dangers from the environment. Like you go away from a dog or go away from a cat. This is total movement. This total movement leads to spread of animals. Spread of animals means change its place from one point to another. And the more that means of movement were strong and fast. Wider its circle of spread was continuous movement. Okay. What are the continuous and the total and the positional movement? There are types of movement. You can describe the movement as movement from one place to another. Also, we can describe the types of movement or classify them into three: total, okay, positional, and continuous movement. What are the conditions of movement and keeping the balance in animal? There are some conditions for keeping the balance of the animal. What are these? Number one, for movement must presence of a skeleton. Skeleton means solid support for the body. All living organism has a skeleton or the skeletal system. We described in the first session the skeleton, which consists of axial skeleton and the appendicular skeleton. Okay. Now we are complete with the muscles. Okay. What is the muscles? Muscles is covered the bones. Okay, types of tissues which cover the bones and allow the animal to move and keep the animal balance. The skeleton consists of segments that are connected to each other by articulating joint that facilitate the movement. What is meant by skeleton? We described also in the first session that the skeleton consists of upper axial skeleton and the appendicular skeleton. Axial skeleton on the skull, vertebral column, rib cage. What are the appendicular skeleton? Upper limbs, okay, to connect the bones of upper limb, we connect them by joints. These joints named by articulating joint. The articulating joints facilitate the movement of the body. Okay, articulating joints means that can be moved from one place to another. You can change your hand, or you can change or take your place from one part to another by the movement of these articulating joints. This skeleton of the living organism may be, number one, external as in arthropods. Arthropods, what is the arthropods? Arthropods is a type of living organism, but they don't contain vertebral column. So there is another skeleton, external or in the outside of the body. This external makes support for the arthropods and make them to move. Okay. Number two, there are internal as vertebrates like me and you. This is internal vertebrates contain vertebral column. Also cartilaginous as in cartilaginous fish, like the shark and ray fish. Shark and ray fish, types of fish which they don't contain vertebrates, no vertebral column. They contain cartilage. Cartilage, you say that the cartilage is a substance contain less amount of calcium and enable the body to support and to move. Bony, like the bony fish. What is the examples of bony fish? Tilapia. Tilapia means balty fish. And miyolite fish, اللي هو البوري fish. Okay? These two types of fish which contain bones. Repeat again. What is the types or the conditions of movement? Conditions of movement we describe. That is the condition of movement. Contain the movement like the support. What is the support of the living organism? Living organism supported by the vertebrates, okay, and the cartilaginous. But what is the support in the arthropods? External support like the skeleton, external skeleton. What is the support in the miyolite and tibia? Miyolite and tibia, there are bones inside their body. Tibia, balty fish, وميولite, buri fish. What is the support found in the shark and ray? Cartilaginous. Okay. Movement in plant. What is the movement or locomotion? Locomotion, another meaning for movement. Locomotion in plant includes, number one, we can classify the movement of plant in number one, cytoplasmic streaming movement. Cytoplasmic streaming means the movement of the cytoplasm inside the cell. And we name this type of movement in continuous movement. Second, tropism. We studied tropism in the last year. When we say that the tropism is the phenomena at which the living organism or the plant responds to light, named by phototropism. Response to gravity, named by geotropism. Response to the water, named by hydrotropism. So the tropism is a type of movement that the plant do when it exposed to external stimulus. Stimulus like light, like gravity, like water. Okay? يبقى phototropism, geotropism, hydrotropism. Okay. The third kind for movement in plant, sleeping and awake movement. Okay, we will take each one and describe them in details. After that, number 4, touch movement. Touch movement means there is another type of plant. When you touch this plant, it moves, you can say, in mimosa plant. Okay. Haptotropism, pulling movement. This is there includes 2 types. Number 1, tendrils of climbing plant. You know what is meant by tendrils. Tendrils of climbing plant means the threads come from the stem or the leaves to support the plant. And the second type of haptotropism in roots of corms and bulbs. Corms and bulbs. Okay. Now, what is the touch movement? Touch movement as in mimosa. Mimosa is a type of plant where its leaflet are collapsed. When you touch this leaflet of mimosa plant, they falls down and collapse in successive orders. Means the leaflets become close to each other and followed by the petioles. After the leaflet, all the leaflet closed, the petiole also turn down, okay, as soon as they touch it, when or as they wilt. Okay, if you touch again, I will repeat again, if you touch the mimosa plant, what happens? The leaflet of the mimosa collapse in successive order and followed by petioles as soon as they are touched, as if they wilt. You can see a video in the touch of the mimosa after this statement. This video describe or illustrate the movement of the leaflet in mimosa. Also, you can see another video found in LMS اللي هو بنك المعرفة. لو تابعناه هنلاقي في قلبيه فيديو خاص بالميموزا، وده للولاد لو شفتوها يبقى حلو جدا جدا يعني. Sleeping and awake movement. What is the sleeping and awake movement? Sleeping and awake movement is a type of movement that like in mimosa also. Mimosa, according to the response of the light, you can see that the mimosa during light, its leaflet become open and stretched, okay, and take its shape, the normal shape. But when the dark come, what happens in dark? In dark, the leaflet of mimosa collapse again, close and falls down, okay. This is a type of sleeping and awake movement for the mimosa. As in mimosa plant and some legumes. Legumes means a type of plant which contain proteins, like the beans and peas. Okay, beans and peas type of legumes. These words, the leaflet approach from each other during darkness. Okay, this is in mimosa, during darkness, which indicate a sleeping movement. The leaflet get away from each other during daylight, which indicates an awake movement. You know, there are 2 types of movement for the mimosa. Number 1, touch movement, if you touch the mimosa. Number 2, during darkness, the leaflet close to each other, and when the darkness remove, during the daylight, the leaflet of mimosa awake movement. Awake means go up. Tropism. What is the tropism? Tropism is a type in which the plant responds to different stimuli. This is stimuli like light, humidity, and gravity. If the plant responds to the light, we can say that the plant responds to phototropism or affected by the phototropism. If the plant responds to the water, you can, or humidity means the presence of the water or the amount of water vapor. Okay, if the plant responds to the humidity, this means that the plant has hydrotropism. Also in gravity, the plant led to geotropism. Now we are going to describe the pulling movement by tendril. Tendril, what is the tendril? Tendrils means the twin of climbing plants. Tendril around the support, pulling the plant stem towards the support. Means when the plant come or grow, the plant maybe the stem is not in the vertical position. Means the stem is not found in vertical position. So that the plant need to support to make the grow of stem well. What happens? The plant search for another support. What is the support? Maybe number one, bamboo wood, maybe any steel found beside the plant. This led to the tendril which come from the stem or come from the leaves join and twin. Twin means turn. turn يعني تلف يا ولاد. turn الكلايمنج أو التندرل around the support. Okay. What is the pulling movement by pulling root? This is the contracts of roots of substrong stem as corms. Corms like the potatoes, like colocasia. This is like the onion. Onion has corm or bulb. Corm or bulb pulling the plant downward means make the plant falls in the soil. Also, pulling movement by tendril, what are the way of its occurrence? The way of its occurrence, the tendril arises itself in the air. Okay, tendril make itself or searching. Okay, searching for what? Searching for support. This support may be for the stem or for the leaves. Okay, the way of its occurrence, okay, the tendril twins around the support. Means the tendril move around the support as soon as it touches and attaches firmly to it. A pulling movement by tendril, the rest of tendril twins in a spiral form, therefore its length will decrease. Due to the twinning around the bamboo tree or around any steel, what happens to the length? The length of the movement or the length of the stem of the plant will decrease. Okay, and so the stem approaches towards the support, becomes near, approaches towards the support means become near and grow vertically. Okay, but what happens in or the way of its occurrence? What is the way of the occurrence of pulling root? The corms or bulbs root contract. Contract means become small in size. Also pulling, when it contracts, it pulling, okay, the plant downward. The corms or pulp lands to its normal suitable level. What is the importance of tendril? The pulling movement by tendril, what is the importance of it? And also what is the importance of the pulling roots by the corms or pulps? Number one, in pulling movement by tendril, it pulls the stem of climbing plant towards the support acting on the growth of stem vertically. Means make support for the stem plant and make the plant to grow vertically. Grow in a right position, not in curved position. In pulling movement by pulling root, it moves the substrate storing stem always at suitable distance, which increases its support and protects its real parts from the wind effect. Means the pulling or the corms bulbs, what happens when it takes the plant downward, keeping the plant away from any wind, because if there is a strong wind, it may cut the plant, cut the stem of the plant. Okay, what is the examples for tendril? Examples for tendril, number one, peas or bacilla, Number 2, pulling movement by pulling roots, Narcissus bulb. Narcissus bulb type of plant, okay, بنقول عليه يا ولاد نبات النرجس. This is a figure show the tendril, okay. You can see that is the bamboo stick, okay, to support in the two figures, bamboo stick to support. In the first figure, this support for the stem by using tendril. In the second, the support for the leaf. The leaf make the tendril around the bamboo. This make the plant grow vertically, okay, without curved. So its length increase and make exposed to the more light to allow the plant to grow well. This is a figure show the tendril, okay. You can see that is the bamboo stick, okay, to support in the two figures, bamboo stick to support. In the first figure, this support for the stem by using tendril. In the second, the support for the leaf. The leaf make the tendril around the bamboo. This make the plant grow vertically, okay, without curved. So its length increase and make exposed to the more light to allow the plant to grow well. Cytoplasmic streaming. This is another type of movement named by cytoplasmic streaming movement. In cytoplasmic streaming movement, what happens? The cytoplasm in the cell move in a circular movement. What is the cytoplasmic streaming? It is one of the main characteristics of living organism. It is a type of movement that characterizes the living organism, and it is a continuous rotation inside the cell. There is a part of the cell make this continuous rotation, while the other part of the cytoplasm in the cell is still as it is. Okay, this movement is shown when examining Elodia leaf cells. Aquatic plant under a high power of microscope, you can see the movement in the electron microscope. You can see the movement of the cytoplasm inside the cytoplasmic streaming inside the cell. The inner wall of the cell lined with thin layer of cytoplasm. Cytoplasm is streaming, means movement. The cytoplasm is moving in a continuous rotation. Continuous rotations means remove or move in circle. Okay, cytoplasm inside the cell move in a circle in only one direction. Cytoplasm can move. This movement can be indicated by the movement of chloroplast. Okay, the chloroplast found only in plant cell, not found in the human or animal cell. And this chloroplast impeded in the cytoplasm. Okay, this figure show the movement of the cytoplasm. You can see that the cytoplasmic streaming inside the nucleus and this vacuole. The movement in rotation means in a circle, but the movement outside is the movement with chloroplast. Dear students, thank you for your watching. I need to continue our session again in the YouTube channel. You can also repeat this session or another sessions to describe all types of movement. In this session, we finish